Welcome back, traders. We're going to start kicking off with indicators now. I'll explain to you how the indicators work, how to add them, what they're doing. For now, we're going to be adding them separately so that you can see how everything works on its own, and we will slowly build up towards a complete system. The first one we're going to look at is the moving average. Now I'm going to add two moving averages, and feel free to follow along if you'd like, or you could just watch this video and then add it later. That's totally up to you. But the first one we're going to be adding is a moving average. So I go on back over to my add indicators, I look under trend, and I find moving average. We're going to be adding a moving average with a period of 5. And I'm going to make this color red. Make sure that your MA method is simple and it's applied to close, and click OK. You'll see that you have this red line now drawn across your chart, and it follows the market quite closely. How a moving average works is it takes the recent history into account depending on the period that you set, and it finds the average closing price and represents that on the chart. So for example, if we have a look at this section over here, this price level that the moving average is at would be the average closing price of the last 5 candles. That's why it is significantly lower than the actual market value, which is above it, because it will always be lagging a little bit. Now a 5 moving average is considered very fast, and you will see that it is quite fast, because as the market changes direction, the moving average seems to follow very, very quickly. It's only really in cases like this where you had a heavy downfall followed by some smaller ups that the moving average does not respond, but it will respond eventually. So quite simply, just remember that a moving average is showing you the average closing price of a certain amount of candles, and that was the option that we set in period. Here, I'll load up another one, and now we'll have a look at the different options a bit deeper. Period, this is the amount of candles that it's taking into account. We're going to make a new one here on top, and I'm going to set this one to 10. MA method is the type of moving average. The two most popular ones are simple and exponential. Simple moving average will simply take the last 10 closing prices and divide it by 10 to give you an average. Or if you set the period to 5, then obviously it'll take the last 5 and divide it by 5. What exponential does is it weights the most recent ones and says that they're more important than the ones further back. So you'll find that it will respond a little bit quicker, but it can be faked out a bit. When I say it weights the most recent ones as more important, it means that, say, the one candle away will count for more than the one 10 candles away. Most of the time we stick to a simple moving average, and I'll introduce exponential if and when we need it. Apply to is applying to which of the price levels. You'll see we have close, open, high, low, and then we have some other options here which we won't really be needing. The median price, typical, and weighted close. We're going to stick with the close price. And as for style, this is really just the color, and then how do you want it drawn. For this second one, I'm going to make it a blue color, but a darker blue than the one we used for the bull candles, just so it stands out a bit. And click OK. Now you'll see we've added this blue line here, and if you have a look at turning points in the market, let's say this region up top here, you'll see that the 5 moving average responded almost immediately to that red candle, whereas the blue one took a little bit longer. Even though there was a massive drop, and that would definitely change the maths, because it's looking at 10 candles instead of 5, it does take a little bit longer to respond. Out of interest, I'm going to add a third moving average. And this one we're going to set to a period of 50. It'll remain simple. I will set this one as black. And I'm going to give this one a slightly thicker look. And click OK. Now here you can see that the 5 responds very quickly. The 10, which is the blue one, is lagging a little bit. And the 50 moving average lags a lot. For example, here we can plainly see that the market hit a high and it's been coming down ever since. However, the 50 moving average only started tilting down around here, which is about 14 candles late. All indicators work the same way when you're looking at the period. You'll find that having a low period means that it will respond very, very quickly. The benefit is that you can get into the trade very quickly, and typically you make more profit. The negative is that if the market has a small blip, or if it turns slightly, then your indicators might say, well, time to buy or time to sell, but you actually get faked out. So indicators that have a longer period are a lot smoother, they're typically more reliable, but the negative is that by the time they tell you to enter a trade, it's often too late. It's always a game of playing pros and cons, figuring out exactly what works for you and what doesn't, and how well you read the market. I'm going to keep these 3 up here because we're going to be using them in the strategy that we're going to be teaching.